Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Jules, here for WhatCulture.com, joined by Scott, and
Hi.
we are together for one reason and one reason only. It's not breaking news, but it is a discussion piece. Ooh. Now, you may remember that a while back, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was launched, and it kind of didn't so much stumble as it fell flat on its face and itself. Now, that was down to mainly the aggressive loot boxes and microtransactions that befuddled the game and confused what the it was about. It wasn't a game for the fans, it was basically for the fans of money. Now, EA got a massive backlash on that. They
Unprecedented, you might say.
It called in people from all walks of life to critique the company on their business practices. Now they finally come out with some promising news. I won't say that it's universally better, but it's interesting to see a company that has started to change the way that they start to make games, because with Battlefield 5 there is a bit of a change.
So yes, basically EA have got this internal directive change. They've introduced the EA Moral Compass, which is what they're calling it on the internal level. It was spearheaded by Patrick Soderlund and Mike Bidley, which is like two high-ranking EA chaps.
Bidley Badly Boodley.
Bidley Badly Boodley, he's been there before. So he basically said that they wanted to reapproach the way that they make games, and they want to get in there with the developers on the, when games are very first being put together, to avoid the sort of systems that got them lambasted for Battlefront 2.
Now, that makes a lot of sense, because it wasn't necessarily that loot boxes themselves are predatory, because if they deal with cosmetics, if they deal with stuff that does not affect gameplay, then arguably that's fine. A developer can put whatever they want into the game as long as it doesn't affect the core gameplay experience. But the problem with Battlefront 2 was the fact that it did affect the gameplay. You could buy skills, you could buy things and perks that would make you have an edge over your opponents.
Yeah, they got the balance wrong, and it was immediately it was like you could pay your way through. We actually did a video back when that first came out about like you could rank up your star cards by just buying more stuff. But like you mentioned Battlefield 5, going into that, they've said that the game won't have any microtransactions and won't have a season pass, but
it will have microtransactions, but it won't have loot boxes that will develop determine guns.
But that's the thing. It's ridiculous, because they're saying it won't have microtransactions. They're just going to have another name for it. It's called something like concurrent spending or something like that.
The thing is, they have said that like there's no season pass, and what they are going to do is there are going to be microtransactions, but they are going to be for cosmetics. Now, arguably, I think that's the right way to do small business transactions. I do find that it's a bit of a shame that it kind of completely obliterates what we used to know when we grew up as kids, as in the sort of being able to unlock different skins, unlock different costumes. Now you get the default stuff, and I bet you anything that there will be bare bones customization to make up for the fact that they will maybe try and gouge a lot.
That would be immoral again.
But no, it's not immoral, because it doesn't affect the gameplay. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same as like Shadow of Mordor and the way that they did all of their stuff. It's not the same as Battlefront 2. I do agree that this is the better way. I don't agree that it's the right way to do business. But then again, as a developer, if you were an indie developer making a game, if you wanted to make extra money somehow, I'd say that cosmetic skins and stuff like that are a fair way to do that.
I'll play a devil's advocate for a second, because that's the thing. Like, we're seeing the industry adapt and move and grow with the fact that recurrent spending is a thing, and like obviously the stats speak for themselves. You should actually check out Josh's video on why Activision don't make games anymore, because they make so much money off their microtransactions they don't even need to. I did
that video, by the way. Don't worry about
that. Well, Josh wrote it, but like together they did. But yeah, so like but it's one of those things where the amount of money that microtransactions bring in, I mean, it's responsible for like 40% of Activision's entire take, or something stratospheric like that. So like the industry has to think of a way to go forward with it, but it does go against the industry itself, or the one that we grew up with, because
it's very interesting.
We used to get full games.
You've just pointed out Activision. Now, obviously, they've got the new Call of Duty coming out fairly soon. There's the beta that's going on this weekend. Now, they do have loot boxes in it. They do have these things. And what EA might be doing is trying to highlight now a practice that they were lambasted for is now something to then push away the heat onto other companies. Because Black Ops 4 is like, oh crap, Battlefield 5 isn't going to have loot boxes and stuff. Now we look like the bad guys. You know what I mean?
Like Black Ops 4 is already in a weird position anyway. Like if you're EA's PR and you're trying to pivot EA's reputation right now, like EA are one of the most despised companies in the industry right now. They don't have a good reputation. But they used to. Like the EA Sports It's in the Game thing is what we grew up with. And EA used to make phenomenal games, whether they were movie tie-ins or just like random things that they would put their budget into. Even Dead Space was EA funding it. And so it's one of those things where like later in the year, there is a way for them to pivot again and go, hey, we've got you guys, gamers. We're not going to have microtransactions. We've also got EA Indies and we're sponsoring all these little small projects. We've got your gamers at heart kind of thing. And we're not the big corporation like we used to be. I don't trust that because of the amount of money microtransactions make. I see this only as a pivot, as a smoothener.
As you pointed out, just because they do it with one major title, and to be fair, Battlefield 5 is a massive title to do it with, it doesn't excuse the fact that every single one of their mobile app games, every single one is still using that system. Now, what this is it's basically putting a mascot in front of the firing line and saying, look, you can't have a go at us now because Battlefield 5 is there. That is incredibly cynical of us, though. Hopefully, it shows a change of heart. And I won't say that I expect it to be fully rolled out in EA across every single title, but it's good to see that there has been a backlash that has had a positive effect.
That's the thing. Can EA grow a heart? Can they do a Grinch?
There is also the side note as well that the fact that loot boxes have been deemed as gambling in some areas, so the fact that they might also have to do it because it would break the law. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. I think that's one of the reasons why another one of the reasons they're doing this is because they need another word for it than microtransactions and blind boxes. Hence the fact that it's just terminology changes in some degrees. Like the fact that there's still cosmetic options that you can buy in the game. Still a microtransaction, but they're going to have to change the way it's worded, probably to get around the legal speak, because the Belgian Gaming Commission investigated Battlefield 2.
Didn't they?
China's laws have changed, like all that kind of thing. So they've got a hell of a mountain to climb. I think it's a lot of terminology reworks, and I think we're right to be cynical about it. Yeah. But I'd like to be impressed by a company that used to be good.
I would just love to see the fact that if they are going to introduce terms like moral compass, that they actually bloody well stick to it. So anyway, that's been our thoughts on that. Let us know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. But before you go, maybe you'd like to check out something that Scott's done on the gaming channel. What's the last thing you did on the gaming channel?
Oh, God. You're on the spot with the... Right? Oh, check out the philosophical one that I did about games that have questions that you won't want to answer. I ruddy love philosophical debates, and I did a whole video about games that posit questions that are just horrible grey areas where both sides are bad and they're enjoyable. It's done very well so far, but feel free to check it out. Also, we've got the What Culture Gaming podcast coming up that we're recording the first episode of tomorrow, and we'll put that up, I think, early next week. So that's coming very soon as well, so feel free to look out for that. What have you done recently?
What have I done?
Apart from everything.
I've done everything on everything. I'm so tired.
What have you not done?
So very, very tired. I'll tell you what, go to the main channel and check out some of the stuff I've done on there. Or maybe even That Film Theory. Go to That Film Theory. Check out my favourite one that's on there at the moment is What Really Happens at the End of the Thing. That was an enjoyable one to do. Anyway, as always, I've been Jules.
It's good.
You've been awesome, and we'll speak to you soon.
Bye.